Hi there and hello everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Love in Action Daily Boost Program, where we encourage, equip, and empower people of all walks of life every day to follow their dreams. It's all about having your wholeness in your life and you having it your way. And it's important that you live your dream according to your terms, that you not bend or break under the pressure of your dreams, that you allow your love flow to come through in the ways that it can for you. I've got my notes here because it is the last day of week 40. And week 40 is all about renewing relationships, reconnecting, and refreshing our bonds. And each day this week has been aligned with the chakra, and we've had 10 reflection questions to help you think about your life in terms of love. Of course, on Sundays we start with the root chakra, and on Saturdays we end up in the crown chakra. The crown chakra, hey Tara. The crown chakra is all about spiritual connection, unity, and higher love. What do you know and what do you understand? You got to take in the new information as well about what you know and what you understand. And of course, like I said earlier, this is all through the prism of renewing relationships, week 40 in the year, reconnecting and refreshing our bonds. And here are your reflection questions for today. Y'all, I've had a wonderful day. I played Uno with strangers. I went to the pool. I got my 10,000 plus steps in. I took a hot shower. I had my coffee. Like, life is going to continue to get better and better and better. I can feel it because of my spiritual connection, my unity with myself, and the higher love that comes from knowing that you are loved and lovable. You've always been loved and lovable. You're always going to be loved and lovable, and nobody can shake that. And if you'd like to tap into a loved and lovable community and really reflect on your dreams, but not only just reflect on your dreams, but to generate your dreams. Tara, the answer to your question earlier from peer support, what's the name of that test that you told me to take, or that I took? Higher vibration, higher standard, health systems, human design. Yes, I am a generator. I am a generator in the human design system, and we can talk about that. I would love to have human design parties where people bring their human design and we talk about what's aligned, what's not aligned, how it's informing our lives. I love that kind of carrying on. I really do. I am a generator, and I've recognized from the pool experience and also with the cookout that I'm going to tonight that with another stranger from the neighborhood that was like, come on, we'd love to get to know you, let's go. I'm realizing that I have always been a generator, and I'm able to generate love and connection and abundance wherever, however, whenever. And you cannot ever let people make you feel like you're dependent upon them for the joy that you're generating. Remember, joy is cultivated from the inside. It's an inside job. That's why we say you're loved and lovable with or without the people around you, because sometimes when you get addicted to people's emotional states or their ups and their downs, or, you know, they're having a rough day, so you have to have a rough day too. And then before you know it, everyone's having a rough day. Nobody's happy in the family. No one's happy in the friend group. No one's happy on the planet because we all decided that we were going to be miserable together. I refuse. I know and understand that I'm loved and lovable, and that the joy that I cultivate is the joy that I cultivate, and the joy that I give out is the joy that returns to me multiplied. I'm very grateful for that. So, crown chakra, once again, here are your reflection questions in the spirit of renewing relationships. How do my relationships help me feel connected to something greater than myself? Where do I experience divine or unconditional love in my connections? How do I bring spiritual intention into my relationships? Which relationships feel sacred to me? How do I honor the soul in each person I meet? What practices remind me that we are all interconnected? Where can I release judgment and embrace unity? We were talking about prejudgment and judgment this morning and peer support. Y'all got to come to the peer support programs. They are the hottest thing in Love and Action Network right now. I cannot tell you how much I have benefited from changing my environment, meeting new people, cultivating new strengths, looking into new opportunities, and coming to peer support. It is so good. Where can I release judgment and embrace unity? How do I bring gratitude and reverence into my bonds? Which relationships elevate me spiritually? Which relationships elevate me spiritually? How do I embody love as a spiritual practice in every interaction? Which one? How do I embody love as a spiritual practice in every interaction? I also would have you all know that as I get further and further away from my trauma-addicted tone and my trauma-addicted life, and further away from trauma and drama-addicted people, and the further I get away from my literal addictions to substances and things, the further that I get away from that life, the more clear as a bell I have become about who I am and what I'm doing. And I would be less than my integrity if I pretended like it's not an adjustment for everyone in my life. Some people are on board with it, other people are resisting it for whatever reason, and that's their business. Not everyone will resist it, but the embodying of love that I feel as a result of releasing the poison from my body, so good. And what's crazy is that some people will renounce or release their addictions to physical things and not change the beliefs inside that created the addiction. The thing that I'm doing differently this time, and I've been in and out of recovery my entire life, what's happening this time is that not only did I release the substances, but I also released the mindset that went along with it. That's that CBT. Those are thoughts becoming the beliefs that become the actions, that become the thoughts, that become the beliefs, that become the actions. Like, that's what that is. And I'm releasing every idea and every environment and every person that doesn't serve me for the highest good of what I really want to do here. What I really want to do here is not sit around and complain about life and argue and fight and be at odds. I want to be in harmony and embracing unity within my heart and within my life. And if you're not going to embrace unity with me and come into harmony, then we don't have anything to talk about. What's for lunch? You must be talking about question 9. Which relationships elevate me spiritually? Tara Parolo Studio, one of our architects, is here today. And the answer to that question for her about which relationships elevate me spiritually is my relationship with Nisi, with Fiona, with you, with Poppy, and with Piper. I'm realizing, Tara, as Mama Oya agrees, that I wanted so much attention from people outside myself that I was neglecting the essence of my loved and lovable soul. That's what made me nervous. That's what made me anxious. That's what made me depressed. Not taking care of me. And that's not to neglect anybody. Like people are not going to be neglected if you take care of yourself. You're actually going to have more strength, more passion, more love to give. You really are. You have to trust that today. You really do. That taking care of you is going to actually open you up to have more. But there are people everywhere complaining, I gotta do this, I'm taking care of this person, I'm taking care of this person. When is it my turn? When is it my turn? Well, it's always your turn. It's always your turn to love on you, to raise the vibration and the consciousness and the love. Always. Always. So yes, let us elevate ourselves spiritually, and then we get the overflow. All those names that Tara listed and all the people in my life that are elevating me, and some of them, you know, on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, they're happy about my elevation and their contribution to it. And the other is like, well, what about me? What about, like, we're all included in our own story, you guys. We're all the center of our own show. Every time. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you want to watch Dr. Flo be fabulous. I was fabulous in the 80s and the 90s before there were cameras in our faces. People loved me and were attracted to me. Like, what happened today was such a healing experience with Lil Bit and Steve-O. Because that's how it happened in the 90s. You'd be out in the park or out playing with people and throwing your frisbee. And someone would say, you want to catch? And you just throw your frisbee to a stranger and they would catch it. And then they'd throw the frisbee back and you'd catch it. Today in the park, but as I was walking during peer support, 2 young boys, young black men, teens were playing, and the ball got by him, a la soccer, and I put out my foot and I kicked it back into the game. Like before the internet started to hypnotize us and program us into unworthiness and separation. Oh, it makes me cry. Yes, please find that on YouTube. Yes, it makes me cry. I'm so glad that instead of being an uptight bitch, which I can be, which is sometimes appropriate for me to be, a loved and lovable asshole, which I was talking about on the earlier TikTok this morning, I'm so happy and grateful now that when their Uno cards, the wind is blowing in Savannah, Georgia today. And so when their Uno cards started to blow across the lawn, I had just finished the TikTok. And they asked me when I went and got the Uno card out of the lawn for them before I started the TikTok, they were like, you want to play? And it was so sincere. Like it took me right back to the 80s and 90s when someone at school or over lunch or in the community or at the library or some other third space would say, do you want to play? Like that is a classic kid kind of question. A childlike question. Do you want to play with me? And that's what everybody wants to hear. Do you want to play with me? Are you interested in being my friend? Are you interested in my life and what I have going on? It's a very simple love. As the Priolos say, love is simple. Love is not complex. We make it complex, but love is simple. And it's getting more and more simple all the time for me. I'm releasing all those entanglements, let me tell you. So when they said, do you want to play? I went, I have to do a TikTok as part of my programming, but here's my card, and next time I will play with you guys if you're around. And then I went and did the TikTok, and then after I ended the TikTok, there was a path that split in the woods of my life where I could come back into the house and go on with my day, and hopefully they would reach out to me and we, play Uno or play some games some other time. Or I could say a game of Uno is tops like 10 minutes. It's my day off, even though entrepreneurs and spiritual network leaders don't really get days off, I haven't taken a day off since I started. And some of those days I was on a cloud. And I still wasn't off. Someone was calling for encouragement, equipment, or empowerment, or asking about spiritual matters the whole time. I never took a day off. And so I made a decision today. Instead of going home and plunging into work or watching TV or going back into my life, I said, you all offered to play Uno with me, and I love Uno. Deal me in. And she handed me a set of cards, and off we went, playing and laughing and joking. I learned about their family. They learned about mine. I learned about their community, and they learned about mine. Histories, and all sorts of wonderful things because I said yes to life. Then, after playing 2 games, I called Poppy and told Poppy where I was, so he didn't think something happened to me. He was sleeping. He was not looking for me. And I used to be offended by that, but then I realized, oh my God, don't be offended. Play Uno with your new friends in the neighborhood. And then, as the great magnet would have it, because I chose to play not 1 game, but 2 games of Uno with my new friends in the neighborhood, I walked up the stairs on the way back to my home, my current home, and I met the neighbor upstairs. His name is Heavy, and boy, does he have heavy feet upstairs. They call him Heavy. He said, I said, nice to meet you, man. He says, if you want to come out to the parking lot later, we'll be grilling out. Come and grab a bite of food. A bite of food? I said, I see you out there all the time, but I didn't want to be stranger danger. So I didn't introduce myself to you because I didn't know you like that. I didn't know how open you were to it. He goes, oh yeah, man, I got that grill there. I got 2 more grills in town. I said, so you're into culinary? He goes, yeah, I'm a grill master. I said, I've been wanting to ask you questions about your whole grill setup out there. Can I come and ask you questions? He said, yeah, you can come and ask me questions. I'm going. He said, it ain't happening now. He goes, at dinner time. So what happens is, for weekends now, the sun goes down and you start smelling amazing barbecue. Fall grilling out. For the last 3 weekends, the sun goes down, and then you start smelling like chicken and steak and all kinds of shit. But because of the ways in which the internet has made a bunch of us afraid of the community, afraid of people. I told my new Uno friends, I said, I know everybody at the Food Lion by name, and they know me by name. I have friends in this neighborhood. I can only walk here. We're going to be raising funds soon for a car and transportation for Flow, but fuel for Flow. But I've made friends anywhere I can walk. I have made a friend here. We say in our loving treatment every day that whatever we put out in the universe comes back to us, and love comes back to me every time. I said, Heavy, I'm going to come. You know what I'm going to do? I told Poppy Water. Poppy Water was kind of like, about it. I'm going to the grocery store. I'm going to get some meats and some sides. And I'm going to the community cookout that I was invited to. Because until we start actually being who we say we are, love in action, until we start saying, I don't need to go home and be in front of the TV and let Netflix or Hulu be my friend. I can be friends with Steve-O and Lil Bit and Heavy Joe. I can embrace and be embraced. And our work at Love and Action Network, especially in the morning peer support groups, have really gotten me into a practice of what it means to be honest, open, willing, and available, and also what it feels like to be authentically embraced. I think that's what it is, Tara. Beyond the brats, I think that people have gotten out of practice on what it means to be embraced in their authenticity. I know I did. I turned over the last 4 years from a person who, I told them today, I said, as we were playing Uno, I said, I'm a former flight attendant. There's not a single person on the planet I can't talk to on the ground or in the sky. They went, man, that's cool, man. That's cool. I was like, yeah. I can talk to anybody. I'm not closed off to life. Life is not closed off to me. It's me that's been putting myself in the corner. And I shall recover it all. I'm loved and lovable. I'm a great time. We laughed and joked and kicked it, and the cards kept blowing. So much fun. So much fun. And the internet, because of all of these opinions and these quick takes and the vitriol that we sometimes see, not all the time, but because of the vitriol that we see, we've trained ourselves into believing that people are not safe and loving. And I remind our community all the time that if people were not truly safe and loving, we would have a chaotic society. If there were not more people like me who are open and honest and willing and available and present and outgoing, we would live in a very mean society. If people were like what we think people are, and some people actually are, scared and afraid and intimidated, we would not have a functioning society. The ways in which society functions is based on people like me and people like you all, loved and lovable, putting our love in action and going out into the world and being the bridge. We are the bridge. Wholeness, Angie, if you're still here. We're the bridge. I don't know what these scary ass people did with their lives today, but I played Uno with strangers who affirmed Love in Action Network and said, that sounds cool. I'm going to a cookout tonight with the neighbor that I just met this afternoon, and we're gonna I'm having a steak tonight. You hear me? He has this large smoker and grill. The fire comes up, he lights a tiki torch. It's a full Hawaiian situation in the parking lot. And none of the people that I live with are interested in knowing their neighbors. They I don't want nobody in my business. I don't want nobody in my business. Don't tell nobody I'm going to the cookout. I'm gonna go get steak. I'm gonna go get potato salad. He told me I could come and just get a plate for being me. I don't have to bring anything, but I am. I'm gonna go and get me a little, I can't even talk about it on here. I'm gonna go and get me a little sidecar. I'm gonna get me a little Uncle Daddy special. A little, y'all know, a little boom boom pow. Hey Chrissy, you're loved and lovable. I'm gonna get a little boom boom pow. I'm gonna get a little boom boom pow. I'm gonna get a steak to grill, and I'm gonna get some potato salad, and I'm going to go and have a cookout with the neighbors that I'm not supposed to talk to. But it's not that I'm not supposed to talk to them because they did anything to me. It's because society has trained us over the last 20 years to see our neighbors and to run. Once again, like I told y'all, after I finished, and I do TikTok several times a day, and I run peer support throughout the week, daily peer support. And I've been learning some things doing this daily peer support. It's like people are afraid of each other, but they don't really want to be. They're terrified. They will do like I was telling Angie when we first met. I can't stand people. I hate people. Get people away from me. They will act that way. But at the heart of the matter, they want to connect. They want to be seen and heard. They will tell you. Poppy Water said, how do you know that about them? How do you know that? I said, they told me because I cared. They told me because I cared. I could have come into the house and let Netflix babysit me. Or I could say, deal me into this game of Uno. Tell me about your son. Tell me about your family. Tell me about your life. Allow me to care and be cared for by people who are not arguing in my house. Because we need and we deserve in this life an abundance of care. If you are solely relying on your friends and your family and the people close to you for care, that's why you are deficient and depleted. Because there are millions of people, Angie and Tara and Love in Action Network, who want to love you as you are. They won't even ask you to change. These people who played Uno with me, by the pool, they never asked me to adjust my personality. I told them about Poppy and everything. They said, you need to bring your partner out here the next time so we can meet him. My partner's like, who did you meet? What were they about? Are you sure? They loved me. I can find connection and love in the hearts of anybody. That is a gift I have. There's unless you are being overtly hateful and ridiculous, I can talk to anybody about what's in their heart. Everybody wants something. Everybody needs something. Everybody wants to connect. Yes, I can connect. Yes, I can be a bridge. Yes, I can be loving. Yes, I can encourage. Yes, I can give a hug. Yes, I can give a smile. And when I say that me and this couple from Savannah, when I say that we giggled, draw two, reverse. They have a version of their game. These people are such hardcore Uno players that they have blank Uno cards where they've written in different kinds of Uno rules. On one of their wild cards, which is like a super wild, they've written the words switch hands. So it's several times during playing games with these Uno aficionados, I had to literally give my hand to these strangers. We had to switch hands. And of course, the young lady she was on Uno. And then the wild card was thrown down for us to switch hands. I took her Uno hand, and gave her my 10 cards. One of their versions of Uno, if you have 20 cards in your hands, you're immediately disqualified. These people are Uno players. Poppy Water was like, is it that same couple that's always sitting by the pool? I said, yes. They're lovely. They're lovely. They told me that they have a little situation with the bottle. But that ain't my business. Pass me some, cousin. If you don't have love in your life, it's because you're blocking the door. We've been talking about this all day in the network. If you don't, and I hate being this way because this is why people don't like sometimes what I say. Not all the time, but sometimes people don't like what I say. They don't like my vibe. Because taking full responsibility for your life, Flo, Angie, Tara, network. If you don't have love in your life, it's your fault. If you don't have freedom in your life, it's your fault. If you're not living your dream, it's your fault. Love is trying to get into your heart. Love is trying to get into your house, and you're blocking the door. Don't you dare come in here. And for a brief moment today, but see, we had already done our heart work and peer support. I had loved on Tara and Nisi and Ryan, and they had loved back on me. So I was primed for greatness. I was primed for success. I was primed. There was no self-love deficit because I had community this morning. If you're wondering why you have a self-love deficit, it's because you don't have any true community. Half of y'all ain't got real friends like Flo. Think about your friends in your life and what they represent to you and for you. You ain't never had a friend, never had a friend. You ain't never had a friend, never a friend. You ain't never, ever had a friend like me. But I'm bonk. You ain't never had a friend like me. You've had amazing people in your life, but you ain't never had a friend like me. And we were loving on each other. And then right as I ended that promotional TikTok that we do, second day of doing it, I'll see how it feels. Right as I ended that TikTok, I said, do I want to go home to sleep in Poppy and these kids with attitudes on opposite ends of the house? Or do I want to play Uno with these strangers? You gotta remember, on my way from the peer support room to the Afterglow TikTok, the wind blew. like it's blowing right now. And the wind blew their Uno cards across the fields. And instead of saying, oh, those are their Uno cards, that's not my problem, I went and got their Uncle Flo went and got their Uno cards out of the field and said, here's your yellow 8. And they went, you want to play? You want to play Uno with us? And I said, no, I can't. I said, no, I can't play Uno today. I can't play Uno. I've got to go to a TikTok. One of my collaborators is waiting for us to do some promotional work on TikTok. But I will give you one of my cards. I will give you one of my cards. And you just plug me in, and the next time you're playing Uno, just tap me in. But I'm important. I got fancy things to do. Loved and lovable. Here are my cards. And I made sure to give a card to the woman and to give a card to the man, because I'm not trying to take your lady. I'm just here to be loved. I'm not here to take your lady. I'm just here to be loved. So here's a card for you, ma'am, and here's a card for you, sir. What's your name? It's nice to meet you. I'm Dr. Flo. Pleasure. And off I went. Off I went until after the fact. I'm like, yo, I can play Uno today. Hello. Happy Saturday. Have a great day. I'm going to be the mayor of this town. I am going to be the mayor of this apartment complex. People want to connect. People want to have fun. People want to have love and freedom. All these feelings that you experience in Love in Action Network, the things that I want in my life are not unique. The things that I want in my life, happiness, healthiness, freedom, and abundance, we all want those things. And so Love in Action Network is going to be very, very popular. The service members like Tara, Angie, Poppy, and beyond, Nisi, Dolly, the service members are going to be very, very popular. Not popular because we need it. Bitch, I got friends. Bitch, I got more friends than I can deal with. I'm trying to get rid of half of my friends, bitch. I'm trying to get rid of half my friends. I honestly am. So it's not because we need people. It's because we know what people want. People want to connect to their liberation. And they definitely want to have fun, and they want to play Uno and feel release and the release of joy in their lives. If you're out there and you're looking for a release of joy in your life, if you're out there looking for clarity in your life, if you're looking to go deeper in your purpose and you need a group of people to believe in you and to believe in your personal I invite you to go over to lovedandlovable.bio.link, 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 and tap into our services, tap into our love, tap into our expansion. I would love to flow with you. On behalf of our leadership team, Tara Praolo Studio, Poppy Water 33, and myself, Ask Dr. Flo on all platforms, I invite you as always to stay in your power, stay in your joy, stay loved and lovable, and I'll see you very, very soon around our fantastic network. Take care.